Welcome to TwistedBrush Pro Studio. I'm using version 17.17. In this video I'm going to show some creative uses of the cloner tools and brushes combined with filters to allow you to control the filter application to selective parts of your photos. First thing I'm going to do here is select from the Art Pro Cloner ArtSet the Pro Cloner Basic brush. When using cloners and clone sources to selectively change part of your image, you can work two ways. You can either save a copy of your original image to a clone source and then apply a filter and then clone to bring back some of your original image, or you can have an image, apply a filter, and then set that entire filtered image as your clone source, and then undo it, and then now you can paint with your filter as if just to the selected parts of your image. And I'll show an example of both approaches. The first approach I'll do here is where we are going to save the original image as our clone source. So I'm going to Page, Menu, Set Layer as Clone Tracing Source. So now we have this photo as our clone source. Now I'm going to go to Filters, Color, and select Grayscale, and apply and exit. So now we have our photo as a grayscale, but we've saved the original to our clone source, and we have our cloner brush. So now what I'm going to do is set down the opacity and make it sensitive to the stylus pressure, and now you can see I can start to pull back in some of the original color from the original photo. Now you could use masks as well to do the same type of effect. One advantage of doing it this way is you get a little more control, a little more intuitive feel when you're painting back your original image or your filter effect. So both approaches work, but with the cloning approach that we're using here, it's a little more creative, I feel, and gives you a little more control. So here I moved back up the opacity all the way in and basically pulled back in the entire frog. I should have actually maybe made the edge softness a little higher. I noticed I wasn't really being too careful at the edges here, even though it's not entirely too noticeable since the background didn't have a lot of color. So in this case, we started with the original image as a clone source, and then filtered the entire image, and then pulled back in some of the original photo data. I'm going to do another the opposite now. I'm going to apply a filter to this photo, what's currently on the page. Let's just do photo detailer. Preview. We could see it really makes the frog itself pop quite a bit. I'm going to say apply and exit. So now what I'm going to do is go back to Page, Set Layer as Clone Tracing Source. So now we have this image as our cloning source. Now what's important I'm going to do is undo. Alright, so because we didn't want to apply that detail and pop to the background, really we just want to apply this to the frog and really give it focus. Again, I'm going to drop down the opacity here, because that's one of the advantages of using this approach, is you can have more control than you would with masks. So I've dropped down the opacity and made it sensitive to the stylus pressure. And now I'm going to start to paint in detail on the frog. So you can see as I'm stroking over this frog, the detail is starting to come out. And you can do this multiple strokes and get it to the point you want it. So those are the two basic approaches. You may need to watch this again to see the subtle differences about the two approaches.